Jansen Harris here with Sean Fowler. We are talking Dan Quinn. You're a head coach, Sean. He's more your head coach than my head coach. We're talking about Dan Quinn. It's gonna be his sixth season. Missed the postseason the last 2 years. Sean, will this be Dan Quinn's last year? I'll get straight to it. It's gonna be his last season with the Falcons.
I think if he doesn't at least make it to, say, the division round or NFC Championship, it should be. Dan Quinn, we thought he was going to get fired last year. We had strong opinions on that. And if he was to get fired last year, even though I think they went 6-2 or 7-2 their last 8 to 9 games, it's still would have like, you know what? But no, we don't need to see this late, Dan Quinn. You had your chance. You didn't make the playoffs, and you got fired. So if he would have got fired last season, it is what it is. You had 6 seasons to do so, and you didn't make the playoffs again. But I think for Arthur Blank to put him back, I think, ironically, what saved his job was that the Falcons start looking like the team they could potentially be. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, these guys were clicking. The defense stepped up a lot, and they won games. They beat the 49ers at San Francisco, if you remember that game late in the season. So
that was a big win.
It's a big win, and they beat New Orleans also last year. They ended on a good note, picking famous Jameis off to win the game in OT in Tampa. So the Falcons, because you still have that talent, and Matt Ryan's window is closing, but he's still, to me, a top 10 quarterback. Because you have all that talent, I think the Falcons have to make a deep run in the playoffs. If they don't, they need to let Dan Quinn go.
Do you think – I'm trying to see right here. Sorry, I messed up, but I'm just keep it going because we could just delete that part. Shit. That's called choking.
Oh, Lord. You want to start over?
No, it's all good. We're going to keep that because that was good stuff by you. So, Sean, do you think that Dan Quinn, maybe him and Thomas Dimitroff, it was more of a timing thing? Like if they would have went maybe the 4-12 route last season, he would have just been going. That's what you're basically trying to say?
Well, I think because they ended on a good streak, Jason, like you were alluding to. They won the majority of their, say, the second half of the season. Their last 8 games, they were 6-2. I think that's probably a reason why they kept them. So again, if that wasn't the case and they went 6-10 or they were 4-4 their last 8 games of the season, then they probably wouldn't have kept them. But because they had a winning record, the last 8 games of the season, that's probably why they kept him.
Okay. I think my take on this Dan Quinn thing is, remember 2016, they kind of caught fire towards the end of that season, finishing 11-5, and then headed into the playoffs hot and winning those games. That was the Matt Ryan's MVP season. Then they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And I just don't think they've been the same since. I hate to pull that card as everybody's talking about it. Dan Quinn, is he a bad coach? No. But I think the Falcons are talented enough where they should have got rid of him last season. I was kind of disappointed with that because I think Thomas Dimitroff is pretty good at drafting players. And the thing that pissed me off the most was he was talking about how, I'm going to get Vic Beasley ready. I'm going to get him up into speed. And Vic Beasley did lead the team in sacks, I believe, with 8 or 9 sacks. But he wasn't that player people thought he could be. Right. So they got rid of Vic Beasley, but they kept Dan Quinn. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the players maybe like Dan Quinn. Maybe the San Francisco win convinced them. But they still have a lot of issues. This division, I don't know. Hopefully they could do something. I'm confident that the Falcons can compete towards the top because Tampa Bay has their flaws and the Saints have their flaws, as we see in the playoffs. And in a way, it's kind of anybody's division. Mm-hmm. But if I don't see at least 11-5, I think he's gone. Because I think it's going to take 11-5 to win that division. Yeah. It's going to take more than 10 wins to win the division. Yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Tampa Bay is way better than the Falcons. But what concerns me about the Falcons, and I hope Dan Quinn has a solution to this, and Thomas Dimitroff, because if they're thinking Isaiah Oliver's a number 1 corner, which people have said this on Facebook and other Falcon fans, I think they're going to be disappointed if they think he's a number 1 corner, or if A.J. Terrell year 1 is going to be a number 1 guy. I know you're looking at me crazy, but if people think that, I don't know. They're going to get that secondary is going to get ate up. So if they don't have questions the back end, we're going to see. And Dante Fowler Jr., he got that connection with Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator at Florida. This is his boy. This is his new guy. Yeah. His new guy talking a big game. I need to see 12 sacks, 11 to 12 sacks. We need that pressure. Grady Jarrett needs to step up. Tack McKinley, this is a contract year for you. You need to step up. So the Falcons have question marks, and this is really all on Dan Quinn. The hot seat is the warmest for him. There's other coaches out there, but the hot seat is extremely warm. Yeah. They need to win this division and make a far push. I know the NFC is tough, but that's what they need to do, Sean.
I agree wholeheartedly, Jansen. It's definitely going to be a big year for definitely the defensive side of the football because that's his specialty.
Absolutely.
we've seen a couple years that, okay, the defense is around top 10, entering around that realm in 2017, I remember, but it really hasn't lived up to the expectations that we expected.
Yeah.
Definitely seeing that Dan Quinn was from Seattle and whatnot, so definitely the defensive side of the football is something I definitely want to see highlighted because we know the offense can get clicking no matter, who the OC is. So the defense and the Falcons having a winning record is going to be huge this year.
Let me throw this in. I want to sneak. I always got to sneak something extra in there. Sean, if Thomas Dimitroff, the GM, gets fired, Dan Quinn gets fired, is this going to be Matt Ryan's last season in Atlanta? Just thinking what the NFL does. We see it a lot. I know people going to say I'm crazy, but we see it a lot. We see it a lot. New coach, new quarterback.
If that's the case, if the Falcons, for them both to get fired, yeah, it's a possibility because you're basically rebuilding everything. And if that's the case, well, Julio might be going too, but they just gave him a fat contract. I doubt he'll leave. But if that's the case, Jansen, for them both to leave, that means that they're going to have an awful season. If you get rid of your head coach and the GM, that means they got to go. And if that's the case with Matt Ryan, most likely if they have a losing season, he's not going to be playing as well either. I can definitely see that happening.
Is your definition of awful 6-7 wins? That's my definition of awful for this team.
It's around there, six or less.
6 or less. Oh, so you're talking about like if it's 5-11 or
definitely.
okay.
If you get rid of the GM as well and the head coach, I think the Falcons are rebuilding mode, or they're trying to get into the quarterback. Yeah.
Okay, I'll end it on this note. I think if Dan Quinn gets fired, Thomas Dimitroff gets fired, that new head coach and new GM are going to take a close look at Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan. Even though I do think he's loved in Atlanta, especially with some of his community work recently. The only thing I would say is that Super Bowl him not bringing one, but he's very loved in Atlanta. But that coach is going to take a look at that. Just like with the Cam Newton situation with Matt Rule coming in, he kind of lied about some things. I think new coach, new quarterback. You see it in this league a lot of times. I'm not saying it will happen. Yeah. I'm just saying he's going to take a look. They're going to think about it, and they might not pull it.
One more thing, I'm sorry. You just mentioned Cam Newton to Atlanta. If Cam Newton's still available during the season and Matt Ryan is struggling, why not? That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Jansen Harris, Sean Fowler. Like, comment, subscribe below. Go like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram as well. DM Sean or DM me. If you got any questions, you want to talk, you want to just talk crap, talk sports, say what's up, hit us up.